What the H brought to you by Butch Jones. What was Butch Jones's dumbest thing at Tennessee? What's the dumbest thing he did?
Okay, so there was about 4, and I don't know which one is the dumbest. There is the trash can, the turnover trash can. Remember that?
That was the dumbest.
But there was also when Tennessee didn't win the East, and he said it doesn't matter because they're champions of life.
Actually, that's the dumbest.
And then when
top it, we're like playing Rook where you're trumping it.
And then when Tennessee didn't get an elite recruiting class, he said, we're not looking for 5-star talent. We're looking for 5-star hearts.
Okay, this one's dumber than all of them. What?
Lastly, every play is a rep for every player, even if you don't play that play in practice. You get a mental rep. Yes.
All right. Your thoughts on the message board. We'll go ahead and put it up there. Steve says champions of life. What the H?
Ginger power.
Oh, that's not the right one. Excuse me.
What the H?
Wow. I've never worked hard on anything. What a cool life.
For real? The Dave Hooker Show with Caleb Calhoun. Represented by T. Scott Jones. ThanksandJones.com. Tennessee's trial attorney. From the Ted Russell Ford Lincoln Studio, East Tennessee's #1 volume and customer service dealer, Ted Russell Ford and TedRussellLincoln.net. Now to the Dave Hooker Show on Off the Hook Sports.
All right, this one's dumber than all of them, and I challenge you. We've got votes for the Champions of Life, the trash can, the hearts thing. They're all getting votes. Oh, the brick by brick commercial was pretty bad too. Let's not forget that one.
Oh yeah.
It's building a mailbox. Well, what can your coach do? Build a mailbox. Great. He's not even building a house. You know, if he was building the foundation of a house, that would make sense. Here's this. This is the dumbest one. So listen to this, guys, in all seriousness, and tell me this isn't the dumbest one. He has a touch coach. Butch Jones has a touch coach.
And not Jerry Sandusky.
A touch coach at Arkansas State. So he has a coach that's there for practice, and I assume will be there for games. I guess he gets a credential. That every time you touch, one player touches another player in a positive manner, I guess you can goose them, you get a positive mark on your grade for that day. So the touch coach keeps track of who gives out the greatest touches. What's a touch? It's anything in a positive manner. It could be a pat on the shoulder pad. It could be a pat on the rear. I guess you could grab them in the nether regions. I don't know. I didn't make it up. But your thoughts on a touch coach, how that compares to all of the other stuff that he did at Tennessee. I think it's by far the worst.
It is one of the worst. It might be the worst. I think you're right. I think it's the worst. And for the full story, guys, former Arkansas State assistant coach, special teams coordinator Jake Schoonover, who is now at Ole Miss, said it's a touches leaderboard. He said it on a recent appearance with the Coaches Pod, and he was trying to give Butch Jones credit for it. His quote, here's what he said. He said, Butch has a maniacal approach to culture, and he found a study that they did in the NBA about Steve Nash and how every player that ever played with Steve Nash said he's the best teammate they ever had. And so they were trying to figure out why. When they counted up how many times he physically touched a teammate, whether it be confirmation, affirmation, whatever it may be, just a pat on the back, a pat on the butt, whatever, it was like double the rest of the league. So anyway, Butch put that into play with us, and he had an employee on set, actually a Northwest Arkansas boy, a kid from Bentonville, Hadley Gregg. Hadley is Butch's personal assistant to count touches. They have a camera filming practice, and Hadley would look at the camera afterward and count the touches, and they have a touches leaderboard, a positive touches leaderboard.
This is so dumb. It goes into a whole different realm, not just Butch Jones, but a totally different realm. And I'll say dumbest things ever. And the dumbest thing I ever saw a coach do in terms of one of these gimmick things would be the opportunity is nowhere. I don't understand how nobody saw that and didn't tell Derek Dooley that it says opportunity is nowhere. But this, to me, literally, I can't think of anything worse, anything dumber. That wasn't an actual X's and O's personnel decision that affected the game. That was one of these gimmicks. Nathaniel says
Butch Jones has plenty of those too. Don't worry.
Well, he's got those too. Yes, they call them intimacy coordinators in Hollywood. Just incredibly dumb. I don't understand how the coaches look at him with any respect, or how the players, look at him with any respect.
It is by the way, we forgot that way at Tennessee. Details, accountability, and toughness. That way was another phrase he had for his players.
I don't even remember that one.
There was a Migos song at the time called "That Way," and Butch, trying to be cool, was like, "Our motto is that way this year: details, accountability, and toughness."
Oh, I'll give you the one that was dumber. Third down for what?
Oh yeah, but at least I got the fans into it. I mean, that was fun. Lil Jon showed up for the game. I can't say that one was dumber.
Lil Jon showed up to practice, and it was almost like he was already old news, old pop when he showed up.
Yeah, but who cares? That song was huge that summer. I can't blame Butch for that. That was kind of fun. I might disagree with you on the third down for what. I mean, I love turn down for what. I played that all the time.
It got so old so fast, though.
I mean, it did, but still, this is still the dumbest. Positive touches is the absolute dumbest. Look, I can't wait till he walks in on maybe two of his players roll the other way, and so maybe he catches them making love, and is that a positive touch?
Adam says that was the biggest clown move, talking about going to Alabama while Tennessee still paid him. He burned every bridge, made an enemy of every fan by doing that, but he didn't care.
He needed a job.
Yeah, Adam goes on to say that was the biggest clown move he could have made, smoking cigars with Bama.
That was a clown move. So for those who don't know the story, Butch Jones gets fired in 2017. 2018, he takes an internship with Alabama. That year, when Alabama beats the brakes off Tennessee, he's given a victory cigar and lights it up, celebrating like, this is the first time I got to get a victory cigar in this series. I'm like, yeah, because you're at Alabama and you decimated Tennessee the past 4 years. And so you're lighting up basically that victory cigar is because of how badly you screwed up Tennessee.
At what point do the players say, stop touching me? I mean, if you're in practice,
he's encouraging the players to touch each other.
I understand, but at what point do you say, stop touching me? I don't remember Steve Nash touching a lot of people.
Also, Steve Nash has how many rings?
Oh, that's a good point.
Like, he didn't win a title with this. Yeah, he didn't win it. He never won a ring. So what's this whole best teammate positive touches? You know who didn't give positive touches to his teammates? Michael Jordan. You know who brought the best out of his teammates? Michael Jordan. You know who was a bully and very hard on the players? Michael Jordan. Okay? So I don't understand this whole positive touches thing. But, I mean, and by the way, I just can't get over this. He did a study. He conducted a study on why Steve Nash was a beloved teammate. This is one of the things that, like, there's just an intangible factor that made him a good teammate. It's not the number of touches he had, but this is so beyond ridiculous. And this is the dumbest one. This is the dumbest one. It is. I'm sorry. You're right.
What's been his record at Arkansas State? Because you would think somebody that was the head coach at Tennessee and was an analyst/assistant at Alabama should be able to win at Arkansas State.
Well, he went 6-7 in 2023 and wore a bowl-bound T-shirt because they got to a bowl, even though they had gone to a bowl 7 of the previous 8 years before he got to Arkansas State, which is always funny to me. Yes. And then last year he went 8-5, and he's been 19-31 at Arkansas State. But let's never forget this. When he first took over, Arkansas State went 2-10 in 2021 and 3-9 in 2022. Again, 7 of the previous 8 years before he got there, they had gone to a bowl game. And then his third year, he goes, there's finally a lot of players on our team that care. Nobody cared about winning before I got here, or like when I first took over.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's include a football thing. What's dumber, the touch board or trying to move J.J. Watt to tight end?
Oh, gosh.
J.J. Watt went on to be one of the best defensive ends in the history of the NFL.
No, I know, but then there's also wanting to make Jalen Hurd work at running back. So, I mean, Butch Jones didn't believe in great defensive ends. He wanted to put them elsewhere. But see, if you're going on the football route, Dave, moving J.J. Watt to tight end is not even the dumbest thing Butch Jones did from a football perspective. The dumbest thing Butch Jones did from a football perspective is burning a timeout because he didn't have his field goal block team out against Florida.
Well, the dumbest thing he did, in my opinion, was not play Alvin Kamara more because he had paid Jalen Hurd cash in recruiting. And once you pay somebody, they own you. That was the dumbest thing he did. It's hard to believe that he's been able to elevate his career as much as he has and keep it alive. He's coached at Central Michigan, Cincinnati, Tennessee, and Arkansas State. A good coach. Philip Fulmer is if he has that career, he's winning the lion's share of his games because you should win if you're a good coach at Arkansas State, Cincinnati, Central Michigan. That's how you elevate your career. He's only 103 and 85.
No, I agree. And by the way, let's not forget this. He took over for Brian Kelly at Central Michigan, and then he took over for Brian Kelly at Cincinnati after Cincinnati went undefeated. Now, here's the thing with Butch Jones and why he had early success. Because he won 4 conference championships his first 6 years. Butch Jones kind of introduced what you would call the smash mouth spread, which is basically zone read blocking, typical spread offense, what Rich Rodriguez and Urban Meyer runs. But for those who want just to get into the X's and O's of it real quick, the offensive line block more like they're in a pro style offense than in a spread. Does that make sense, Dave? They're coached to maintain their blocks. That's the system he runs. That caught Group of 5 programs by storm when he was first there. He never adjusted his scheme whatsoever after he got to the SEC at all. And that was his problem. So I'm giving Butch Jones credit from the football perspective of a scheme he did develop, and I've given him credit. Him, Zach Azani, Mike Bahikin, all did it. And then Mike DeBoard was the offensive coordinator when Tennessee was at its peak in the mid-2010s.
I agree with Nathaniel. The touch board's so much dumber. It might be dumber than the J.J. Watt thing because J.J. Watt was a great athlete. He probably would have been a good tight end. Like John Chavis still argues that Jason Witten would have been a great defensive end.
Yeah, no, that's true. But I'm still on the timeout to get your field goal block team out there. For those who don't remember the story, 2015, Tennessee's beating Florida 20-7, Dave. They're beating Florida 20-7. It's 4th and 6. Jim McElwain brings out his field goal unit to kick a 50-something yard field goal in the second half. Already done by Jim McElwain, right? To try a 50-something yard field goal to cut a lead from 20-7 to 20-10. Already stupid. Butch Jones panics because he thought McElwain was going to go for it, so he didn't have his field goal block team out. So he decided to call a timeout to get his field goal block team out, and then at the timeout, McElwain thinks about it and decides to go for it and gets the first down. Who cares if you don't have your field goal block team out? It's a 50-something yard field goal, and you're still going to be up by 2 scores. Don't burn a timeout like that.
Derek brings up a great point. Butch inherited the best in-state recruiting bed since I've been alive. I agree with that, and I thought it was going to continue to rise up as the mid-state area continued to grow, but it's kind of flattened out a little bit. Great point.